Hallelujah. Here we go.
So,
straight away, the bans that we were expecting: Malphite, Shen, and Jarvan taken away by Alternate, Twisted Fate, Thresh, and is it going to be Zed?
could be Rumble. It could be Rumble. They've let Zed through a couple of times. Kerp has pretty much insta-locked that a good number of times. In 3.2 yesterday, Tesla actually locked Zed in, if I remember correctly.
Yes, he did.
But yeah, looking at my previous ban history, Rumble has been a fairly high priority ban from the Wizards, and I think this is what they're talking about. What do they want to let through? What do they want to let slide?
Well, we'll see. It's going to be a bit of a deciding moment for them. It is going to be Ari banned away. Wow, taking that away from Frontload, and instantly Diana getting locked in straight away by Kerp there. That's going to be obviously for Unlord in that mid lane.
And that, of course, does deny it from Dragon as well. Dragon played that in game number 1 of the series and had such a great lane in that particular matchup against Lord's Orianna. So that is a very good lock-in for them.
Insta-lock Zed and Zac, though. So going for the Z's, working down in the alphabet. Of course, that does mean Varus is available. And of course, Lee Sin was selected by RNA in game 2.
Sona as well.
3.2,
yep.
And now in 3.3.
So we've seen the Lee Sin Sona pick in for Alternate a number of times throughout the course of this series, and every time they've done the picks and bans. With Zac being locked in for Wizards, that could be for Dragon in the mid lane. He did that in the second game of the series, and it was, let's be honest, it had very little impact because Frenelord's Ari was just so good. So we'll see whether they're going to give that to Carbono in the jungle or whether Dragon's going to take that in the mid lane.
We just went in to see Varus. It's going to be Matroco. That's almost certainly going to get locked in. It's going to be support Elise again. Or it could be a mid lane, but I don't think so. I think that's going to be a support Elise.
So I think so too. It's something that we've seen in both 3.1 and 3.2 in terms of the picks and the bans as far as those were concerned, which would lead me to believe that this is probably going to be a jungle Zac. Now, Jarvan was banned out, so we'll see what they want to put in the jungle. We may see a Nautilus. We may see a Nasus. Nasus has been run by Wizards as well. And with Renekton, this is the exact same composition that Alternate ran in 3.2. Renekton, Lee Sin, Diana, Ezreal, and Sona, and it's just a great mixture of tankiness, survivability, and damage.
Look at the damage on Wizards. Blimey, they are all in for this one.
So this composition from Wizards now differs slightly from 3.2, whereas they had Xin in the jungle yesterday. Before we had that pause very early in the morning, they had Xin Zhao in the jungle. It's now been swapped out for Zac. So it's the second time we've seen Zac on the Wizards roster. It's in a different player's hands. And again, you've got this great initiation power from Zac, and a lot of damage.
There's a ton of damage to follow it up. If that Let's Bounce does land, you're going to expect Zed and Kha'Zix could jump in straight in. You can even get the support player jumping in, but he's going to be staying back, just protecting Matroco there. So very much aggressive from the Wizards. And again, it's actually a pretty speedy team from Alternate we saw in game 2.
Yeah, it's one of those things where we said mobility is a very key factor here, actually for both teams. And they're going to be able to move around, and a lot of dashes back and forth.
Alternate versus the Wizards. Game 3 is about to start, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, you can see it on the screens right there of the Wizards. They are going to be beginning as the red team, and the blue team will be Alternate. Now, the red team has won both games so far in this series. Can they make it through the Wizards, or will Alternate manage to pick up the victory and take it through to the Giants?
The Wizards will be looking to channel some magic for this game, and we immediately see a change from Alternate. They've decided to focus this bottom lane. They've grouped up together as 4, and they're going to be roaming towards this bottom tribe, which we've seen defensive starts from Wizards, seen very slow starts, and Lee, touch wood. Let's get this game underway.
I'm crossing fingers, thumbs, touching wood, doing everything possible, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry, we're all praying. Everybody together, collectively at home, join me.
Here comes the Scar Award.
No, it's not the Scar Award. Get your facts right. Scar Award goes in the Tribush from the Dragon Pit.
Okay, well, you then told me incorrectly on stream 2 weeks ago.
That's where the Scar Award
and called that one the Scar Award.
Everybody's seen the Scar Award.
You lied to me, Lee. So, nevertheless, got the ward down, immediately cleared out because of all Alternate standing in the bush. That happened in 3.1 when we've seen these games happening. And
those games never happened.
They never happened.
They never happened like that. This is game 3. This is the only game 3 I've ever seen so far, and I've stripped my mind of everything bad that may have happened beforehand, because today is going to be awesome, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I'm hoping so too. Minions have spawned. Both teams will be starting sharing the experience around, and we see an early lane swap from Wizards. Once again, sending Varus and Elise to the top lane. They're going to be starting off the double golems, and we'll see how well Kerp does with the giant crocodile in that lane.
Hallelujah! Okay, it's working one side, ladies and gentlemen. They're fine up there so far. It's all good. It's all good.
Remember, it was at 2 minutes 11 when they got to lane.
I'm all good. This is it. This is on now. It's on, ladies and gentlemen. RNA, of course, went low last time with Daran, so they're all doing the exact same paths that they've done before in previous matches, but of course you've never seen those matches, nothing ever happened, and this is the very first game of the day. Right now Aranea taking very low on red, just like he was before. It is going to be a 2v1 in the top lane, it's going to be a 2v1 down the bottom lane, and we have hit that record stage that means this game will get underway. Alternate versus Wizards, it's happening.
Game 3 decider faces off against the Giants later today to determine who makes it into the League of Legends Championship Series. And immediately Lord's playing very aggressive. He's got the level advantage over his lane opponent, Dragon. And he's already got a decent CSE. We'll see whether or not he can keep those Crescent Sweeps coming out and dealing as much damage as possible.
Keeping the pressure on Dragon. Meanwhile, the top lane. Let's have a look through the lanes now. So we do have Kerp, of course, on Renekton. He's in that 2v1 against Varus and Elise. This is a very dangerous lane for him.
Very dangerous, because if he gets caught by a cocoon, he's going to be dropped very, very low. You've got that percentage HP burst that will come out of Matroko's Varus, and if as long as he's held in place, it's going to be very easy to land. But he does have the ability to sustain, which will play into his favor. And all of this damage that Tesla's taking, he's going to need to drink potions to drink through that.
He's going to be chugging them down. We'll see whether he can, of course. We do have a difference between the top laners, of course. Zed didn't start with that red pot. He's been chugging down all the potions, whereas Kerp did start with that red pot, so he's making sure he's safe in that top lane. Aranea also sitting in the wings.
So we'll see whether or not he can set up any ganks. Remember, this is 3.5. The slow does land into Matroko, but Aranea is just running interference and protecting Kerp, making sure he doesn't get dove under the turret here. So remember, you can stock up to 9 potions. This is not live. We are one patch before.
Yeah, you can see the poison going down to Kerp there. Aranea is just off in the distance. I'm not too sure whether he got spotted, but he certainly will do when he passes by that pink ward in the river. Doesn't quite take the step towards it. Is still lingering around there. He's expecting maybe Zac to come around. Instead, he's just going to come out and help out Kerp clear that way.
Yeah, take a little bit of lane tax, get a little bit closer to his level up. Currently level 4 to the tie, even level 4 for Carbono's Zac. And in terms of CS, Kerp falling a little bit behind that of Tesla, but of course Tesla has that ability to farm from range, which Renekton does not have. So there's always going to be that small disparity. The key is the HP. Elastic Slingshot is charged, and Carbono is going to decide to go in.
He's going to go for it. Frenlord just sidesteps, backs away, avoids all of the damage, doesn't get stunned, knocked up or anything like that. And it does mean Frenlord's going to be safe. Dragon, though, with that red pot already used, he's going to be trying to put the pressure down on the middle lane. We'll see how it works out from this bottom lane. This is one we've not had much chance to look at. Tesla's been chugging through those health pots. He's got none left in his pocket now, and Aranea is coming around the backside.
His red buff has just worn off, though, so we'll need to keep a close eye on that. And I think what he's waiting to do is be very sneaky with his approach. He's got no wards to put down and jump into. We do see Carbono moving around towards this bottom lane, and there's no vision yet. They're about to see each other, and here's the engage.
Face to face, who wants to take it? That's the question. Oh, and he's going to follow straight through on Carbono. Had already put the Q down. The elastic slingshot towards him and just tracked his path.
Such a great play from Carbono, because not only did he pull Lee Sin with him, he knocked up both Creatine and J-Ree, preventing the dive, preventing any of those fights under the turret. So he's going to hang around a little bit, steal some of this experience, and pretty much just ensure that Tesla doesn't get dove.
So we see Dragon, he's the first person to back off, gets himself that Tear of the Goddess. Frenlord also went back. He got himself a second cloth armor, so he's building up those Seeker's Arm Guards earlier on. Kerp just dashing around, slicing and dicing, clearing out the minions in that top wave. Top turret down to about half health. The bottom turret the same as well, so very even across the board.
The CS numbers are close as well. There's an 8 difference between these two, but there is a wave in front of Kerp that will obviously play into his favor. And we'll see how these two teams decide to itemize. Frenlord, differing from his regular build of picking up 2 Fairy Charms, this time around he's going to be working towards that Seeker's Arm Guard. And we've seen in pretty much every game that he's played, he's gone for that Chalice of Harmony early. And this time around, it is a little different on Diana.
The Chowie of Harmony, maybe. But we do see a red buff still on Kerp. He's very low in that top lane, as is Tesla. So both these solo laners very, very low. Looks like it's going to be Carbono's going to come in and help out. Aranea's going to do the exact same. So very much similar situations for both the teams, mirroring each other across the board.
And no, very aggressive plays. We've pretty much seen junglers coming to fend off tower pressure more than actually try to set up ganks or go for kills. Right now, Kerp falls very low. Decided not to use that Fortitude pot to save his life and just backs away. And it's just a very, very tense game. And happily, it's a game that we are playing. The winner, the loser goes out. That's the thing. That's what's on the line right now.
An early second back as well for Frenlord. He has got the Seeker's Arm Guard and Boots already picked up now. 2 AD carries. Very even, like you mentioned, 59 to 57 CS. We do have a CS advantage, of course, for Dragons. They're going to jump on towards J-Ree here. Carbono does manage to interrupt him. Just sends him packing. a little bit longer. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Dragon is going to go aggressive. Has evolved. You can see he's going to try and get those hits on towards Ferelnlord. Jumps in for it. He should be able to take this one. No!
Wow.
Ferelnlord turns it back around. Brilliant play.
The shield from Ferelnlord was so important there. He flashed away from Dragon early, and I initially thought, oh, he's falling back. He's not going to win the fight. But once Dragon jumped back on top of him, the Pale Cascade cooldown came back up. Ferelnlord was able to shield up some of that damage and secure himself first blood. A great play. Kerpers picked the fight.
Kerpers returns to lane. He's actually taking a lot of pressure here. Matroco is almost a couple of shots from taking that turret down as well, so he's really piling on the pressure on Kerp in his top lane. Did go back, got himself that chain vest, but really is struggling out in his 2v1 lane. It is such a hard lane to play against 2v1, especially when it's a kill lane like this.
Yeah, and because of the fact that both champions have the percentage HP damage, as long as both of Matroco's Varus and Mithy's Elise has the ability to actually, spam their CC. Take a look at this. Kerp's picked a fight.
He's picked a fight, but I'm not sure it's one he can win. You can see the barrier comes out, and Kerp now in all sorts of trouble. That ultimate's going to save his life. He did put the ignite down. Matroco was taken low. We do see Ferelnlord coming up there, but he's going to be passing straight by a ward, and it is going to be the Wizards backing off.
So Wizards managed to survive that engagement with the red pot and the ultimate from Renekton. He got a massive HP spike, and he was able to stand and tank up Varus' auto attacks for a while thanks to that chain vest. What it does mean in the fact that he's forced his opponents away, he's clawing back a little bit of that CS advantage that Tesla has earned up, but it is a sizable number right now.
Well, we could see the first tower of the game going down here. You can see they're going to push on this one alternate. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, it's actually going to be Ferelnlord that gets jumped on from both sides, gets stunned down nicely. Ferelnlord's in all sorts of trouble. Has to try and jump away from this one. Let's Bounce was used. The voice spikes are going to slow him down. That should be enough to catch him out there, and Ferelnlord will drop. It's going to be a 1-for-1. Uses that shield, but there's nothing he can do about this one, just delaying the inevitable.
Just a little hop skip at the end there manages to turn him into a puddle. Dragon was started by ultimate, but thanks to Tesla's presence, he is going to decide to, they are going to decide to back away. The tower is evened out, so after ultimate picked up the first one in the bottom lane, Wizards immediately reply, and that'll be the first back for Matroco, but the pressure is not over.
Yeah, they may be able to take this mid down, turret down a lot. They've got the siege minion in there. There's the true shot barrage coming across. That should defend it just enough there. But Wizards definitely with a slight advantage here. You can see in terms of CS between the two top laners, or solo laners as we can call them in this game, Kerp and Tesla with a clear advantage starting to build here.
And of course in the mid lane as well, with top lane then you got mid of 20 CS advantage for Dragon's Kha'Zix. He's been able to farm with those Void Missiles a little bit more effectively than Ferelnlord has been with his Crescent Sweep. So we'll see if that continues, but of course with that first blood gold, it will be keeping it relatively close by, and with blue buff, Ferelnlord's going to have a much easier time farming up in that mid lane.
So the lane phase starting to transcend into the mid game. What are we seeing here? What are we seeing? Advantages built across the board. Apart from, of course, that mid lane seems to be the main one. Dragon taking Ferelnlord with the CS, but he did get the first kill, which means the gold is only 100 between them.
So one thing that I see immediately between the two, items and two teams and things like that is the fact that Matroco on Varus is going for a BF sword into Vamp Scepter, most likely going to go for the Bloodthirster into Last Whisper, which you've been seeing him do. He's going to have more damage against the likes of Alternate at these earlier levels because of the higher, auto attack damage. And until the Wizards members start stacking HP, that, Blade of the Ruined King that's coming out of Creatine may not be quite as effective in these early stages.
So Wizards looking like they're going to set up for the Dragon. The ping was just down there, and Tesla was moving down, but he's returned back towards the top lane now. So obviously been shaken off, called off by his team. And he does get spotted in the river there. Ferelnlord's going to dive on towards Dragon, does get a moonfall, puts the ult ignite down. Is it going to be enough? He tries to use his ultimate to try and stealth away from this one. Not going to quite be enough. Let's Bounce being used out by Carbono just to interrupt them enough. Now he's going to fend them off, and he does a good job at defending his mid laner.
He does. He needed to burn his flash though. He was charging up the slingshot, and I think it was going the wrong direction, so he was forced to cancel that and hop over the wall using that flash ability. So he does manage to interrupt. He does manage to save his teammate, and that is the key. Now, Alternate believe that Wizards have fallen back. They think they've got the advantage, which is why they're setting up for Dragon, and may see a contest, a point of contention from Wizards if they pick another fight.
Now an air goes in on towards Carbono. He's going to get caught out here. Has completed as much as he can, but he's going to get taken out. Dodges out the True Shot Barrage. Has he got enough to try and get away? No, he doesn't. The passive comes out. That will get taken down. It's going to be Creaton, I think, that's given the kill. No, Air steals it.
Superior vision there from Alton allowed them to set that up. They had better ward coverage. They knew exactly where the Wizards were. Their initial goal was to go for Dragon, but instead they decided to back away. Deathmark was used recently, as was Dominus, so that fight petered out to nothing. Ignites are still up, and Dragon's going to go to Ultimates.
Yeah, Kerp diving onto a Tesla on the turret there, but we do see the Dragon going down. It's Alternate to pick that one up. And Tesla forced to go back. So we do see the two top laners starting to butt heads for the first time. And now we see the mid laners again. Pharrell and Lord doing a good job of keeping Dragon back, but I fear for them because Dragon is looking very confident here. He's building up that tier of the Goddess. He had that extra CS. He did manage to avoid the damage. It's going to be Tesla that's being dived on once again by Kerp. He's going to be able to fend off his creep wave.
So well played by Tesla. The timing on that Living Shadow to jump over to and get away from the stun was very important. And with Carbono moving up to the top lane, Let's Bounces will be shortly available. May decide to fend it off instead. He's just going to farm up, actually. What we will be seeing coming out of Creatine will be that Spirit of the Elder Lizard build that we have seen from him every time he's played Ezreal. And against this sort of team, as long as he doesn't get instantly popped by Zed, he may actually be able to use that kiting and that on-hit slow to his advantage quite well.
You see Carbono, he's going to cover off and defend that top turret. Want to keep hold of this turret as long as possible. Coming up to the 13-minute mark here, and the gold is still just 600 in Alternate's favor. They're going to pressure on towards this mid lane. They may well have enough to take it down. They've got 3 members here. The rest of Wizards are going to reply here. Here comes Mithy. If he can land that cocoon, he does manage to get out towards Jerry. They may pounce on this one. They are going to dive in, but the crescendo comes around, crosses them straight back. We're going to see Carbono. He's going to launch his elastic slingshot in there. Jerry's going to go pop down here. It's going to be with Carbono that picks up the kill. Now it's a 4-on-2 actually. They can turn this one back around. The cocoon on towards Aranea should take him down. It's going to be another kill picked up by Tesla there. Aranea very, very low. And now 5 members of Wizards pushing in the mid lane. They can't hold on to this turret.
So well played by Wizards. The counter engage after Alternate jumped on them. Now take a look at the positioning from Kerp. If he comes in, this is going to be 1v5. They've got him with the chain.
There's going to be Dragon. They do manage to take him down. Well, Kerp was ready and waiting to go, but he couldn't simply follow. As soon as that Chain of Corruption landed, that was just abort.
There was never a reason for him to go in to begin with as well, because it was at best case a 3 versus 5. Even though Wizards were low, they would have had the damage and the focus to drop down anybody that dove on them. And we've seen again, that was 2 cocoons in a row from Mithy that set up those kills. One under his turret, one under the Alternate turret, and then you had Matroco without a moment's hesitation landing that Chain of Corruption, giving them the tower, and 3-for-0 exchange at the end of it.
Mithy's spiders being shot in the back there. Kerp's just making him dance around and saying, no, you're gonna have to walk straight through me if you want. And look how confident Kerp is feeling against Tesla. Remember, Kerp played Zed in the first 2 games. He's well aware of this matchup. The pressure's still on this mid turret from Alternate, but Wizards are going to defend this one. Matroco getting caught and taken pretty low in that mid lane.
Taking a lot of poke damage there from the members of Alternate, and they need to be careful of that because there's a dive comp. Kerp just getting a lot of free damage and free poke onto Tesla. His ultimate and ignite is available, so if Renekton or if Kerp wanted to go for that kill, he may have the the damage to actually do it. Right now, Carbono finishing off those double golems up in the top lane. 2-1-2 right now. He's got a CS advantage over his opposite number. And he's doing fairly well. He's been at the right places at the right times for his team, and it's something that we've seen him doing with Jarvan in the very first game of the series.
The giant creep wave being farmed out by Creatine as well in that bottom lane. That's given him a bit of an advantage swing over Matroco, of course. The fact that both slingshot is going to be the slingshot to Kerp, and he's just going to sidestep straight out. Look how confident he is. He just goes back in because he knows he's got Aranea covering his back, and he knows he has the better of Tesla so far.
In addition to that, his ultimate as well as his flash being available and slice and dice. He slices in, uses Cold Meek, and he's like, well, do you want to go? Do you want to go? If they pick the fight, Aranea would have been there to jump in and win the fight with him. And of course, he has all those escapes and survivability tools with full HP. We still haven't seen him complete any items in a while since that chain vest and that cloth armor was picked up. So we'll most likely see him going to spend that 2,000 gold on something like a Sunfire Cape would be my gut feeling, my instinct, and maybe even Ninja Tabai. Against a Zed, a Kha'Zix, and a Varus, armor is going to be very effective.
And of course, that Bloodthirster picked up. We're seeing Dragon going very aggressive as well. He's got that BF sword on. There's 1,000 gold difference, by the way, between Carbono and Aranea right now. That may well be a telling difference when the fights come around. You can see the mid lane as well. It's a 500 gold gap almost built up by Dragon now. But the AD carries, that swings back towards Creatine, of course, and that top lane still very, very close. Just 200 gold separating the two.
Talking about the advantage that Carbono has right now in terms of gold, his abilities are also going to work better for him against the alternate team. If you think of Renekton, Lee Sin, and Diana, they are all melee assassin type champions that dive onto a single target. Wherever they are diving, you're going to have Matroco Zac bouncing them up in the air and dealing AoE percentage HP damage to everybody. They're picking a fight under the tower here just to pull focus so Creatine can take it down.
And they do take that turret. So, advantage in turrets. No one, really, because it's 2-2.
Yeah. Even up, 500 gold separates these teams. 2 kill difference. Good point from Creatine, but you got to be careful when you use that arcane shift aggressively, because if you get pounced on, you now have 1 less escape.
Carbono was ready and waiting to go, and the fact that he got caught by the Void Spike as well just before the arcane shift went in, he was already slowed and may well could have gone for that one.
And the rest of the team weren't there though, so it would only have been support and jungler against what would have been 4 members of alternate, so that may have just been in case of emergency, jump in and, you know, bounce around to kick them out, but of course he was spotted out. We do see that Tesla was in the top lane. He's forced a little bit low, lost half of his HP. He was forced back and out of lane. Even though he's, let's be honest, losing those trades against Kerp, he's staying up in CS, and that's the important factor.
Yeah, Kerp was actually just about to back off there. Chain of Corruption landed on Creaton. We're going to see Mutroko trying to 1v1 him down here. Misses the snipe, though, but puts a good bunch of damage down on Creaton, but that was ultimate used.
So ultimate is down, no Chain of Corruption available. If that piercing arrow to hit, I think it would have been close to kill Creatine, but he still had barrier available, so he was never really insta-killable. Right now, this is a 5-man Wizards that have stacked up in and around the Dragon Pit. There are 5 members of alternate nearby. Israel was moving in from the bottom of the river, and of course, thanks to the vision from Wizards, they were aware of that, got some Void Spikes on him, and the Dragon Dance has continued. There's the slingshot has been charged up for Cabano, and he's dove in there.
He's jumped straight towards him, doesn't manage to land any stuns on alternate. They do have good wizard coverage. They have good vision coverage of the Wizards too. And at the moment, RNA though, they can't really go for this one. We're seeing Elastic Slingshot being charged again. He wants to go for it again, Carbono, but they're moving out of that Banana Bush, goes in towards Kerp, and he's quite happy to just keep him poking back. Now, Banana Bush is no vision, of course, for alternate there, so Wizards have that advantage, which is why they really want to force the fight in it.
Yeah, they're well aware of where all the alternate members are, and they're fairly tightly stacked. Now that 2 members of Wizards shown themselves in the mid lane, alternate think, can we go for Dragon? They were toying with the idea, decided to back off because they have no vision. They cannot make that decision without being properly informed and wisely back away.
Yeah, they've no pick wards whatsoever, and really the only wards on them are from Aranea and J-Reet. It's not really going to help them a great deal.
And of course, Aranea's ward's coming from that side stone, something we've seen him do in Lee Sin, and it's something we really liked. He uses it for mobility and for all that vision. Now, Wizards have started off Dragon again. You can see that they don't have full vision over on the left-hand side of where Alternate are, but they'll see them moving through this river. Dragon's gone low, they picked it up for free, and Alternate just stand by the wayside, waving a big fan and saying, have fun, guys.
Yeah, just cheering them on.
Yeah, pretty much. Give
me that dragon.
They were wanting to go for an engage. They were thinking about diving, but Aranea didn't go in from the Dragon Pit. The rest of the team didn't go in from the river. And at the end of the day, Wizards pick up an uncontested dragon.
And that's a gold swing in their favor. 1,000 gold ward being placed in the mid lane to get full coverage. And it looks like the bottom lane is going to be the focus now. And Creaton is there, and he's going to have to start backing away from this one very quickly.
So he started recalling the timer is counting down. Dragon's going to move towards him, and I think he's thought he's got away. He will. Very, very brave.
Void Spike was so close to interrupting him there, but he does back away. It means the top turret's going to go down for alternate. The bottom turret will, of course, be picked up by Wizards, but it's a 4-man push down this bottom turret. They could continue through.
Yeah, they've definitely got the ability to do so. They are missing Zed, who's a very important member of their team, as his burst damage will be great at taking down one of their opponents. And True Shot Barrage plus all those Crescent Sweep was enough to defend it.
Yeah, alternate, good play by them.
Alternate was thinking about picking a fight, but they decided against it right now. While up in the top lane, Kerp, he's not stopped the pressure. He's jumping on Tesla at every opportunity.
You see Tesla's going to defend that one off. And in the bottom lane, they are all going to back off, so not a great deal for me to say.
No, nothing at the moment, unfortunately. Just some defensive play, and it's actually good to see from Wizards. They were thinking about sticking around for the tower. We're unsure of where the rest of the alternate lineup were and decided to back away safely instead of run the risk of being jumped on from a Lee Sin and from a Diana. So great, conscious play from what they're doing. And we'll see that once Tesla finishes off this Brutalizer that he's been sitting on for a little while, he may be able to try and hurt Kerp. But with that Warden's Mail being picked up in reply, I imagine that's just going to be, what was it, 2 fat lasses rubbing up against one another for a very long time in this top lane.
2 fat lasses from Grimsby. Nobody outside of England will know what the hell I'm on about.
I have no idea myself.
Probably most people in England don't even know. Actually, anyone from Grimsby. I have had people from Grimsby laughing about that one, so it's all good.
So for the 5 of you who get the joke, I hope you enjoy it.
For the 5 of us that get that joke.
Couple of big item pickups.
Yeah, go for it.
So, Zhonya's Hourglass completed for Pharrell and Lord. Double Bloodthirst is now on the sides of the Wizards, both for Kha'Zix and for Varus. And interestingly, he's picked up a Giant's Belt. So, feeling the pinch of that, assassin damage coming out of his opponents. And right now, Tesla Zed is still a fair way behind. Only the Bilgewater Cutlass and double longswords.
Looks like Alternate are going to try and push up that mid lane. I can see the poke, but there's a 5-man push on towards there. Remember, Zed Tesla is just off the side, split pushing on this one, so they may well try and force a fight if they get that chance. But of course, they can't delay for too long because Tesla's going to get onto that turret at the moment, which is why you can see Alternate. They want to get in there. Kerp gets caught out. He does manage to get cut down. Carbono is just off the side, waiting to go for that elastic slingshot. Now he's charging it up. He's going to jump towards it. There's going to be a chain of corruption. Kerp's going to get absolutely massacred here. He's going to still get away from this one. Let's Bounce comes around. Frenlord diving in. He's going to be Matroko. He's going for it. Will be Kratos that picks up the kill there. Zonya's hourglass worked perfectly now. He manages to get the move fall on Carbono. Keeps him back there. That's going to be Dragon going down. It's a 2-for-1 right now. They're going to keep on pushing in this one. Carbono is going to go down. Does look like Tesla is going to get this bottom turret, but at what cost? That I have just lost 3 members of Wizards, and now you can see Alternate are going to take down an inner turret. Can they get it though? No. Despite all of that, they got 3 kills. Zed is on the inhibitor turret.
He's going to be bashing that away as best as possible. The minion wave up Alternate. Their split decision. Creatine has recalled. Some of them are stuck around. What a great counter engage from Alternate there. Once the crescendo landed and locked them up, Alternate, they split away from Let's Bounce, jumped onto the target that they needed to, onto Matroko, and dropped him down. We do see that Tesla has decided to back away from that lane. 4-for-1, but they did get a turret. I don't think that was something that Wizards were really happy about. Gold is only 300 difference between the two teams right now.
Yeah, Alternate finally did manage to close out that turret, which did swing it in their favor. Of course, a giant creep wave down that bottom that Kraton is going to clear out as well. He's going to be happy about picking up yet more CS time to stretch that lead over Matroko now. And the more worrying for them is how quick some of those members dropped. We saw Dragon, he was absolutely melted, and that Zonya's hourglass from Frenlord was critical.
It was perfectly timed and in the perfect position because he dove onto Matroko, he pulled all the members of Wizards onto him to focus him, then he just Zonya's up and waited for the rest of his team to come in there. So they'll be very, very happy with how that team fight went. If, however, you add Zed into the equation and you add his death mark damage that will need to be, popped earlier for the hourglass from Frenlord, for example, or to delete Creatine from a fight, obviously it will work in Wizards' favor. They cannot afford to have a 4v5 engage, even with the tower on their side.
Tesla was thinking of maybe trying to get on towards Creaton there, but wisely backed away because the rest of Alternate had collapsed around there, and it's going to be this bottom inner turret that now Alternate turned their attention to. It seems to be that team that is putting the pressure down at the moment, so Alternate feeling they have the advantage despite the fact you can see the gold. It's just 100 between them. So
because of how convincingly they've won the fights, that's where the confidence is coming from, and they're going to know that some of the ultimates may be quite not available yet. Actually, I look at them, they are available, so we'll see whether or not they pick a fight. The wave clear is pretty good from Wizards, so relying on Zed's shadow damage as well as all the splash from Varus and from Kha'Zix will clear that out very, very quickly.
Turret down to half health. Wizards sticking around here. Remember, they have 30 seconds for the Dragon, so Alternate in great position to turn around and go towards that. And the fact that they're stealing the blue buff away from Dragon is not the end of the world, but those resets would be nice.
No, it would be very important for him just to continually spam and maintain these prolonged sieges. His mana pool will start to dwindle even with that tier of the Goddess up. So we do see some great vision coverage from Alternate, as we've seen all game long, to be honest. He has the fight from them. They're going to be looking for engage. They've got Tesla.
They've gone on towards Tesla. They may be able to take him down. Yes, they do. Chain of Corruption does come out. Let's Bounce is enough, but you can see the damage. Alternate don't go down. It's Aaron here that managed to take the great chunk of it from Wizards, but more importantly, the fact that Tesla's down, the fact that he didn't even get to use that ultimate is a massive difference for them.
Completely stun locked. We've seen the flash engage from Kerp to lock him up, then a crescendo on top of it. They focused him down, and immediately when it's 5 versus 4, Wizards no longer wanted that fight. They couldn't get to the squishy carries in the back, and with that hourglass and the shield that Frenlord has, with the shield from Alanea and all the HP on Kerp, there's no ways you can fight that front line.
Dragon still not allowed to go back in that bush, showing that they have got ward coverage in there. We do see Mithy with that Oracle on right now, so he's trying his best to keep the coverage away from them. You see Dragon just... I'm hanging on to this turret, guys. I've got it covered, but it is slowly but surely being edged away. Kraton now shoving that top lane. I expect that's where the focus may turn to.
So 2 convincing team fights there for Alternate back-to-back and showing their dominance and their control of the map. If they do decide to push that top lane, we've seen Kerp, almost split pushing a lot earlier in the game before those fights engage and fights happen. But with Dragon going down, with some of the wards down the bottom half of the map, you would imagine that Alternate may decide to keep the pressure there as they've got vision control and information control on that side of the map.
Let's have a look across the items. How's this turn? Oh, Tesla has gone very much on his own there, trying to get the ward down towards that Baron. Pink ward does go down. Jerry with that Oracle. Let's now go across those items. As we can see, Alternate 5-man stacking. Looks like they're going to push the mid lane. Of course, it is an exposed inhibitor, but Warden's mail across both Kerp and Aranea. A lot of AD coming out, as you would expect, because just look at Wizards team. That's all they need to do, stack armor.
Correct, and once those eventually get upgraded to those Randian's Omens, it's just going to be so much damage reduction from their opposing team. If, however, Carbono and Mithi are able to build up some ability power, then they'll start being able to take down their opponents. I mean, Elise, when built full AP, can deal upwards of 20% of your target's current HP. Obviously, we're not going to hit that moment for a very long time, so Wizards are going to have to pull out their defense boots and keep themselves alive for very long. Right now, though, Alternate, they're now warding up the top half of the jungle, making sure they have Baron control, making sure they have vision control as the bottom half times out, and the pressure is now going to be on this top lane turret.
They have the coverage, and hoping to see someone make that mistake. And I tell you what, Mithi might do it. He tried, trying to get in towards that bush.
So close.
For Rellenthor wanted a piece of him there. Couldn't quite land him. So desperate to try and get something in there, but it is going to be Alternate putting the pressure on the turret. It's going to get fended off by the Wizards briefly there, but the turret still took some hits.
So we'll see how well the Wizards can defend the siege. They do have great defense potential, and the all-in, sort of aggression from Alternate, if they land a good crescendo, could determine the entirety of that team fight. We need to keep a close eye on Tesla's death mark. If he can jump onto Creatine, that's going to be a big impact, a lot of the damage going down. And you've seen how Creatine's adjusted his build. He's gone Last Whisper after Blade of the Ruined King and that Elder Lizard. So differing a little bit from that sort of kiting control build, because he's doing so well. He's got a massive CS advantage and that kill advantage over his opponents.
Wizards continue to have to fend off Alternate, but I think this may well be a losing battle here. You can see Alternate going to get in once again. Try and keep those turrets alive a little bit longer, Wizards, but it's just a failing battle. Aranea does get caught by the cocoon, but they're not going to be able to follow it up.
No, he's not the one that you want to jump onto, so even with the cocoon and some auto attacks, Aranea is a very beefy champion. He's got his own built-in shield. He's got the Locket of the Iron Stellaria. Now, what Alternate have done very well, they've stalled Wizards up, and as you've just pointed out, the bottom lane is pushing up against the members of Wizards. So if they lose this tower, Alternate going to roll around to bottom and try and push it, but here's the fight.
Chain of Corruption goes, but it's only Aranea, and then it spreads across, but nobody really going for it. Here goes Carbono, pulls less bounce down, bouncing 3 members of Alternate into a turret. Is it going to be enough? Actually very low, both teams at the moment, but it is Alternate. They're looking more stacked here. As you mentioned, that bottom turret is going to go down to minions. Remember, they took it down at least half health now. They're going to continue pressure on it. Kratos got caught by the cocoon. Not quite enough. Arcane shifted just at the right moment.
The cocoon landed as he was mid-teleport, so he ended up getting cocooned at the end of the Arcane shift as opposed to the beginning, which meant Dragon couldn't jump in there, couldn't get the reset, and they end up losing the tower. So a valiant effort from Wizards, but how great was the split from Alternate? Chain of Corruption landed, and the team were just like, sorry, Aranea, you're on your own, bro. They ran a mile, got away from the effects, and were able to avoid all of that CC.
Well, the bottom turret just being cleared out by Tesla there. You can see it had very little health on it, so saving the day for a short while. That will be the final inner turret for Wizards, of course. 5-3 right now, turrets for Alternate. Wizards try and take every advantage they can the moment the Alternate go back to buy. They're going to try and clear out all the wards, but you can see already for Unlord, zipped in there, no coverage whatsoever, but he's going to get that blue.
So this will be the second blue buff steal in a row coming out of Alternate. Even though Mithi's got that Oracle's Elixir on, he's not warding up as effectively as the rest of Alternate are. Tesla, with a good timing on the split push, he gets the tower, but look at Ferenelord's positioning. He's coming up behind him. Flash is available, and he's just used his W. Ferenelord will be looking to pick this fight, as we see the wards being cleared out in Baron. Now, here is the pressure. Tesla's going to get some damage down. He's now spotted Ferenelord, and I don't know if Ferenelord's going to carry on chasing. He's got the reset in his ultimate, 7 seconds left before it comes up, and there's the members of Wizards being able to roll around and pretty much back him up.
Yeah, Kratos was trying to cut him off, but like you mentioned, the Wizards, their all team was there, and they did successfully push him away. But it is Alternate clearly with the advantage right now in this game. The gold's still just 1,000, but the way that they've been playing, strongly pushing as a 5, has been working very well.
Their team fight presence is just another level above that of Wizards right now, because they've picked their fights and they've won their fights convincingly. Every time they've dove in somewhere, they've landed every ability that they needed to land, and it's a very, controlled team fight from them. Wizards, however, they've tried to fight under the turrets, but they haven't been able to get to the targets they need to, and they haven't been able to put the damage down at the right time to pick up kills.
You do see Kirby's going to clear out that wave at the bottom. They're going to let that one shove through, and I think they're going to do exactly like they did a moment ago for that top turret. They're going to clear this wave, get it so the lane's going to push itself, and then maybe try and siege one of those inhibitors.
Yeah, it's it's definitely something that they can do. They've only got that last inner turret to go for, and the fact that they've got so much, have had vision control up until this last minute or two in terms of the entire map. And they're going to take this Dragon for free. Once again, 0 vision, 0 points of contention from Wizards. And with that Oracle's Elixir, they're going to start clearing out Baron wards. That might be the next big team fight. So what Alternate may look to do is push the map because they're in complete control of it, and Wizards may look to force an engagement by using this Oracle to their advantage, denying vision and baiting Alternate to come to them.
Yeah, they're trying to see if they can bait J-Re in. They're going to go towards that death push, but unfortunately they have all backed away. Blue buff is going to be picked up. That's going to go across 2 wards for Elnor, despite the fact he's already just stole one a minute ago. That's just greedy.
Well, you need the blue, need the cooldowns. And to make sure you can spam out those crescent sweeps as often as possible. Something that I just noticed as well, that both of our support players have done this match. Neither J-Re nor Mithy have picked up GP10. So they've gone straight for that Ruby Sidestone, both boots of mobility, and actually Mithy's a little bit ahead of his opponent, thanks to the kill as opposed to the 4 assists, and he's got that Kindle gem in there. But they're going to be just entirely relying on their base stats and their base utility to help out their teammates.
Tesla's getting a massive chunk of waves here. That was all pushed up there, but Alternate didn't make it pay, and instead they're going to clear out this Baron. Are they going to really go for this Baron fight? Do they feel they have the strength to maybe take it in a fight? Because honestly, I think in an actual open environment, Wizards probably have the advantage.
So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out, because in the open environment, it may actually be more difficult for Wizards to focus all their fire down. You need them fairly tightly clustered for Zach's bounce to hit everybody. His AoE and his W is fairly close range. Same with Zed, in fact, as well. So that will play out. But what does help them in the open spaces is how Kha'Zix can just use his stealth and his mobility to his advantage. Going to pop into that ultimate, dive in and out of sight and vision, and make the members of Ultimate doubt him. If they blow up J-Re early as well, no Oracles means he's not even going to be seen at all.
Mithy's trying his best to get some vision in towards that Baron pit, but as you saw, J-Re forces him away, and that's the area around the jungle being completely occupied by Alternate now, and Wizards, they're going to push down that mid lane.
So take a look at this. This is a 5-man stack here for Alternate, 4-man in the river. See, Creatine was moving to the top lane. Once Creatine shows himself, this may be the go signal for Wizards. And that just shows you the tension in the game, the nervousness. Even Alternate, they were like, let's wait in this bush, let's kill somebody. And Creatine said, I want the farm. And everyone said, well, let's run away, let's back away. You're immediately going to see Tesla reveal himself in this bottom lane to farm, and we'll see how quickly he can get to Baron. If Alternate start this one, they're going to be rushing it.
Yeah, you can see it's just instantly, it's like, well, you're going to go down there. Standard, just like your AD carry goes down there. If one of your main champions is going to be down here, we're going to see if we can take the Baron. Ferelnor's trying to fool them into thinking they're going for it. You can see Kerp also getting on towards Carbona. He was looking at launching himself in there. We're going to see the Hail chain of arrows coming out and just forcing him away. But that Baron, it's almost down.
Arena's low. He's very low. If we can get a good jump in here, they don't manage to steal it. Baron has been secured for Alternate. Arena's going to be regenerating a lot of that missed HP, and this has just put a 4-minute pause button for Wizards. You never want to engage in a team with Baron unless you catch them completely out of position.
Everybody going to go back by and stock themselves up for a push in towards one of these inhibitors. Of course, the blue buff once again looking like it might get stolen away by Ferelnor here. There is vision though this time around. We're going to see Dragon coming down there. Does he feel he can get this one? No, can't get there quick enough.
No, not fast enough at all, unfortunately. It's actually something you see Kha'Zix's do from time to time, build those boots of mobility so that you can get into the fights quicker. You can roam and be at the right place at the right time. And unfortunately, that's the 3rd consecutive blue buff in a row that has been taken away by Ferelnor solo. He hasn't even needed backup or support from the rest of his team to do that. And it's just thanks to how much presence they have on the map. Even though the goal difference is only 3,000 in the bank, it feels so much more because of how the tempo of the game has gone. If Alternate determine a fight will happen, a fight will happen. If Alternate do not, then no fight breaks out.
Oh, they may try and close down here. Kerp dashing across, trying to get on towards Carbono. The turret, though, very, very low. Ferelnor's going to finish that one off. Gets the shield and cover off from Aranea. Does manage to take it down. So final inner turret of the game down. Just inner inhibitor turrets exposed and ready to go. Alternate now 6-4 up in turrets.
We'll see whether or not Wizards can defend this, because it's a Baroned up team that they're fighting against. They have a wave pushing against them in the top lane. Soon a wave will be pushing against them in the middle lane. And Alternate are just looking superb in this game. They have been in complete control. It's a fairly low action game in terms of fights, but it's because this is the chess game of the lanes, of minions, of towers, and it's one that Alternate currently have the advantage for.
Kraton's got that big wave coming in the bottom lane. They're going to swing across there. Ferelnor's trying to keep the split push down. And the damage getting on towards Dragon there. Just a couple of auto attacks from Kraton. It's starting to hurt now.
So we'll see whether or not Dragon can get any resets in the fight. Ferelnor's dove in there very aggressive onto Tesla, but he's got some great poke down. The damage onto Tesla has forced him out of this fight, so even if he wants to engage, he's missing half his HP. Tower for free, thanks to 2 or 3 ability uses from Ferenlord, and a great inhibitor play from Alternate.
Nothing at all they can do to that one, but they need to protect this second one. They can't afford to let this one go. They're all going to be resetting on that fountain.
Chain's caught.
It didn't quite catch, actually. I think he missed on towards J-Ree. He flashed away from that one, and it's going to be J-Ree taking the poke in the background. Carbono is ready to go, but he can't get in towards this one. Tesla's down to half health already. He gets dropped by Ferenlord. Carbono is already low. He uses his ultimate simply to escape. True Shot Barrage comes across, pops his passive down, and the rest of Alternate move in. Crescendo goes across. Dragon gets caught out on that one. We're going to see the repel coming out, but he's only going to be able to back away to his own fountain. And we see Kraton. He tried to go aggressive, uses his own fountain, his barrier to cover that one off. But now the minions, they're on towards the Nexus turrets. This could be Alternate taking the game.
This could be indeed. There are now minions in the mid lane. Ferenlord's caught up Matroco. There comes the leap from Dragon.
We do see him force back though, Kerp just getting out of that piercing arrow, but it's going to be another inhibitor turret going down. The second inhib is exposed and will go down. Still 5 members of Alternate in the base. 20-second death timers as well on Wizards still. They're going to push towards the third inhibitor turret. They can see the damage coming out from Ferenlord. Once that Crescent Sweep lands on towards him, Crescent Strike lands on towards him, it does enough, and that is 3 inhibitors now. Double super minions from Alternate. They can go back by successfully. No reason to risk it, but Wizards are in all manner of trouble now.
Just a matter of time before Alternate decide to push that final fight and try close this one out. We did see MYM having some difficulty closing out against Dexter's Actually Evil on Friday. We'll see whether or not Alternate have the same problems. And that whole fight stemmed from that chain of corruption. It actually did catch J-Ree, but at the very second he flashed. So he pulled himself closer to the rest of his teammates. He was no longer in open air, and it didn't travel to anybody because he was in the middle of his team. So it's like, well, do you want to jump in on 4 of us? Please do. And unfortunately, Wizards, they simply could not pick up the kills. Even under the turret, J-Ree held his crescendo for the entirety of that fight, stunned up Dragon under the turret. It's like, well, you're no longer a threat because my team can focus the targets we need to focus. What a great fight, and what a great game from Alternate so far.
Look how tanky Kraton is now. He's got that Warden's Veil on him as well. With that Iceborne Gauntlet he's had for a long time, he's very, very strong. It seems to be working well for him. He's 359 CS, way ahead of anyone else on either team at the moment. So Alternate, they're pushing in there. Oh, Tesla's not there. Tesla was off trying to cover out the blue buff, and the rest of Alternate, they're just pushing straight through.
Now, all Alternate want to do is keep the attention of Wizards, prevent them from hitting the super minions, prevent them from, you know, stopping the CS do the damage for them. And I don't know if Wizards can pull a rabbit out the hat, because that's what they're going to need to do to stop this fight.
Chain of Corruption lands, they all pounce onto Kraton, he gets taken down, no! Arcane shifts away just at the last second, finally gets taken down by Tessa. It is going to be a return kill though. We're going to see Dragon going down, Tessa's going to get focused, he gets dropped. It's a double kill for Kerp. Now he dives on towards Matroco. Has he got the stun down? You bet your life he does. It's a triple kill now. He's going to go towards Mithley. We're going to see Carbono. Can he pick up the quadra kill? One more hit will do it. Kerp's going to dive on the fountain to try and get it. It's not going to happen, but it's Alternate that go through to the next round. They're going to be facing Giants for a chance to get into the League of Legends Championship Series Summer Promotion. Wow, what a game. It's been a long fought, drawn out journey for Alternate, but they made it in the end.
A rematch of the group stage from Warsaw. Alternate will be looking back to that one, will be thinking they want to exact their revenge. A best of 5 later today. Later today we will see that, and that will be our first LCS new team in the summer split.